One of the big influences of TM was on Herb Benson, and Herb Benson at Harvard made a huge thing out of it, brought Templeton Foundation, he entered the board of directors of Templeton, so brought Templeton Foundation into all these things, and his whole influence in bringing it into Western medicine. Herb Benson played a role bringing Transcendental Meditation, which he recharacterized as Relaxation Response, his own term, and replaced the mantra with any word you can choose. So he doctored it up a little bit, kind of separated from the TM Vedic origin, and made it his own. The reason he did it, he felt very uncomfortable because his colleagues would not appreciate something Vedic and spiritual and Eastern and all these things going on, pujas and all that, and it wasn't sort of like proper medical science for Westerners.
I don't know his exact motives, but I assume that must be close to,
yeah. Yeah. Well, one of the persons I'm interviewing is Keith Wallace.
Yes. Well, Keith was with Maharishi from very early on, in the early 60s.
Right.
Keith's a few years older than me, and he started meditating in the early 60s, and he'll be able to tell that. But Maharishi told him, don't go into physics, you should go into physiology and study this Transcendental Meditation, and he did that. And his first paper came out in the American Journal of Physiology. And when that came out, then of course Dr. Benson wanted Keith to be a part of that, and Keith came here. I think the most important part is that in separating the spiritual part of Transcendental Meditation from the actual technique, he may have found that he lost something. When you sit down to meditate, when you do it knowing that you are going to be gaining enlightenment as a vision. In other words, when we teach TM, it's very important. When we teach TM, on the first night, we teach the technique. And then second night, we start to teach, oh, now, here's what's going to happen as you go on and you meditate. And the third night, you get a vision of what will happen as you continue meditating on in the future. Now, when people sit down and they do the relaxation response and they say whatever word they want, which I think is allowed, you pick a word you like.
Yeah, Herb Benson says that there's no mantra needed, you just speak anything you want.
Right. Now, I think one thing is very important. First, the quality of the sound is very important. Some sounds have a very different effect on the physiology, we know that. The sound of a Bach cantata compared to the sound of your fingers scratching on the blackboard will have a very different effect on your nervous system. And if you spend literally, as I have, tens of thousands of hours or hundreds of thousands of hours over your lifetime, you want to know that it's going to be taking you somewhere. So when you have some other sound that you don't know the effect of, one of the translations of the word mantram is a sound whose effect is known.
Yes.
You want to think that it's taking you in the direction of something that's going to be more than what you have. And from the beginning, Maharishi says, yes, sure, this is a non-religious technique. But then he's also saying, you're going to be gaining not just the ability to have transcendental consciousness, that means transcending sounds and perceptions and emotions and having a moment of silence. But he says you'll be gaining cosmic consciousness, which means you're going to be having that silence even when you open your eyes and you function in the world. And then you'll be having, beyond that, you'll be saying not only are you opening your eyes and functioning in the world with that quiet consciousness, but every object that you evaluate, you're going to be seeing in terms of the finest, most refined values, God consciousness. And if you continue doing that, then you'll get what is the vision, the purpose of all of this from the perspective of Vedanta. That means unity consciousness. Everything is seen as a oneness. Now, when you take that meditation out of that context of a spiritual technique, it's hard to get people to continue to sit down and do it. So I think there's been some research showing that when you do Transcendental Meditation, you've learned it properly, your teacher's given you the vision, they give you that support, you know that, okay, I'm meditating, and yeah, I'm going to be getting rid of my stresses of the day and going to work tomorrow in better shape. But you're also thinking in the back of your mind, but if I keep doing this, I'm going to be getting enlightenment.
One of the very important comparative studies I'm going to ask them if they've done is whether they've looked at the longitudinal relaxation response versus longitudinal transcendental meditation. Like what you just said, what's the long-term effect? Are they likely to stay with it? And what effects does it produce beyond the immediate, 60-day, 8-week, whatever, training which they are studying? In relaxation response, I don't think they've done enough very long-term studies on what's the effect on the person. Whereas in meditation, in our meditation system, the whole idea is to not just do it for a while and get cured of something, but to make it a permanent life.
Yeah. Well, I don't know the literature on that and if they've actually been able to do that. One of the problems with doing that kind of study is finding the populations. I published a study in the Journal of Behavioral Medicine in 1992 where I had, I think it was 500 and some subjects in the TM group, and they were all, average time of meditation was 10 years. And I was studying dehydroepiandrosterone sulfate, a steroid that goes down with age. And I was looking at a control population of 1,500 people. And we found that the people that had been practicing TM for those long, many years, had much higher levels compared to controls of the same age. Now, it was easy for me to get all those long-time meditators. We know them, they come back, they keep meditating, they're involved.
Because the total population is so large. That's one thing.
Yeah, and also it's a program, where they sign up and they get regular checkings of their meditation, they get regular, they can come into the TM center and says, I need a refresher course. Finding that in people who do the relaxation technique, have bought the book, they do the relaxation technique, or that go to the Mind Body Institute up in Worcester, which is teaching mindfulness meditation. Sure, they've taken an initial course or they've learned out of a book or done something, but where are you going to find those people? And my guess is they're actually no longer meditating, or they might do it when it's convenient. They might do it when they're very stressed. They say, oh my God, if they can find a time to do it.
So it's not part of your whole life.
Exactly.
Which is what TM is.
Yeah.
Thank you for watching. You can subscribe here and also hit the bell icon to make sure you get notified. To donate, please click this button.